Hello, Augies Worldwide. I'm Dave Kassler, amateur radio call sign KE0OG, here with episode number 904 of Ask Dave. Today we're going to talk briefly about Quartzfest, but more about Discount Solar, which is in Quartzsite. First, I just want to explain what took us to Arizona in the first place, and just exactly where Quartzsite is and where the Quartzfest is. It is a gathering of hams, usually with their RVs, in the Sonoran Desert in Arizona, near the California border. So let's take a look at the Arizona state map and get an idea of where Quartzfest is. This is the Arizona state map, the one they give out for free to tourists. And here's Blythe, California, Indio's off over there, and so on. There's lots of things going on down here. Up here you see Lake Havasu City, where a lot of retired people live and where RV campers come. There's RV park after RV park after RV park. Down further south, if you go down here, you get into the part of the desert right in here, south of Quartzsite. We'll just sneak in and take a look there. Okay, south of Quartzsite, this area right here and around and over here, okay, is flat. Now, by flat, I mean flat. You bring your RV in, park it, and it's already level. Now, there are lots of little tiny streamlet washes over here, so it's pretty well drained in case it rains. And this area around here and over here is set aside by the Bureau of Land Management for long-term camping. It's quite inexpensive. In fact, it's about $1 a day if you want to stay the entire season, and lots of people do. One thing to note with regard to RVing is that there are no facilities out here. You are doing what is called boondocking. There's no electricity, there's no water, there's no sewer. So you use the holding tanks in your RV, and then you run into Quartzsite every so often to dump them. There are dump sites out here at the long-term areas, but there are lots of people lining up to use them. Down over here is a shorter term area. You can stay up to 14 days, and it's free. In case you drive and find a camp spot, and right about there is where the Quartzfest is held. Quartzfest itself is free, and it's held out here in the desert. As I said, you can see some RVs in this picture. And this is a panorama showing the initial opening gathering. There are about 300 people who come every year, and every day is divided into a number of activities. This year, there were a lot of unfilled slots for presentations. I think next year I'm going to volunteer to do something. Just so we'll do a meet and greet, and we'll do some sort of a thing where I give a presentation. We'll see what happens. I just would like to support this organization. This is the first full Quartzfest since the pandemic, and the year is 2023. So very few people wore masks, but a few did, and everybody had a good time. Now, what I really want to talk about is Discount Solar. Discount Solar is a place in Quartzsite, and they sell solar. What they do mostly, almost exclusively, is outfit RVs with solar panels. By invitation, I went into the store to talk to the owner about what they do there. I recorded this little interview of him in the middle of the sales floor. He's very enthusiastic, and the reason that he contacted me and asked me to drop by was because he's an avid ham and an Augie. This is Dave, KE0OG. I'm standing here with Craig, who is the proud owner of Discount Solar here in Quartzsite, Arizona. Craig is a ham. It's what was it?
W7FM.
W7FM. And you have one of the major solar stores here in Quartzsite.
You bet.
Now, how does this relate to ham radio?
Well, Quartzfest happens at the same time as the RV show, and that's when there's a ton of people down here. So we get that's the first thing right off the bat. And then most of the hams that are down here are RVing, and they're boondocking, so they're going to want solar and batteries, and we have all that stuff here in the store.
Uh-huh. So if somebody wanted to rip out their lead acid system, put say 200 watts of panels on the roof, and put lithium-ion batteries and appropriate controllers, are they looking at $1 million?
A little bit less than $1 million. A little bit less. You could spend a couple $1,000 pretty easy, depending on the size of the system. We do systems from 2 to 6 or 8,000. Really depends how much other stuff you have in the house that you want to run.
Now, how did you get into this from ham radio, or what's it the other way around?
I've been in ham radio since 1979 when I was just a little kid. And got out of school, worked for King Radio for a couple of months, decided I wanted to come down here and visit my dad who had retired. And I liked it so much. I grew up in the Midwest, and I came down here, and this is where I stayed.
Are you here year-round?
No, we leave in the summer. It's too hot. All the customers leave. All the employees leave. And it's 110 degrees, so we go on vacation in the summer and come back down in October.
Well, that sounds good. It seems like one of those occasions where you have to make an entire year's worth of profit in about 2 weeks.
It doesn't always work out that way, but that's what we try. You know, we're here for five and a half months that we're open, and we streamlined it down. We know what people use. You know, our customers are pretty specific about they spend the whole winter in the desert. We know what they're looking for. We keep it in stock. We got stacks of stuff here, so we're set up for them.
Yeah, sounds good. So what kinds of things do you do with ham radio? I saw quite a variety of antennas outside.
Usually it's mostly 20 meters. I spend a lot of time on 20, mobile 10 and 15.
Mostly sideband?
Yeah, you bet.
Have you tried FT8, or do you consider that somehow?
I did some PSK stuff, and I've dabbled a little bit with the FT8 with a couple of other guys. But truthfully, we're busy here in the store, and don't have much time to play radio until the store's closed. And then we have about a month in April when it's nice, and then by the time May comes around, it gets too hot, and that's when we're ready to head on vacation. So a lot of my work is done radio-wise in October before the store gets open, and then in April. So I just get a couple of months a year.
That sounds like fun.
It's great.
So how long have you been an Augie?
A couple of years.
Good. What do you like about the channel? What works for you?
I like the variety of stuff. You talk to different people that do different things, and the way you relate to people, especially people that don't. I've been doing this most of my life, and a lot of the newer people don't have a good resource to where they can learn a lot of things about a lot of different aspects of ham radio, and you seem to cover that pretty well.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I get lots of questions. I think I'm up to Ask Dave number close to 900.
I bet, yeah.
Yeah, so what would you say to people who are stuck on lead acid batteries? Is it worth it to make the jump to lithium iron phosphate?
If you're going to be using the system, if it's an RV, for example, if you're going to be trading off in a couple of years, I wouldn't do it. But if you're going to be RVing for a while, by the time you buy a set of AGM batteries, use those up. Buy another set of AGM batteries, use those up. You know, the lithium batteries, you're looking at probably a 15 or 20 year lifespan. Yeah. So by the time you replace the other batteries, you know, it's just cheaper to get the lithiums right from the beginning. Plus they're a lot lighter weight, and you know, they're really, if you cover the price tags up, they're superior really in every way to compare them. It's just the price scares people. But other than that, they're fantastic batteries. We've had wonderful success with them.
Oh, good. I noticed though that you have quite a few AGM batteries here.
We do. That's still a big seller. We're after this year, no more flooded batteries. Just too many people buying AGMs, and honestly, more people buying lithium batteries than ever before. I never thought we'd sell this many, but the numbers just through the roof.
Yeah, that's good. Well, I'm very pleased to meet you today. I think I better let you get back to work.
It's pretty busy in the store. We got a lot of people in here today.
All right. Well, take care. Thank you.
Thank you.
Inside the store were some interesting exhibits. This is a pretty large lithium-ion battery, and the thing that's on top of it that's hidden from view is the battery management system. All lithium iron phosphate batteries have a battery management system. This keeps it from overcharging. and helps with the charging. You feed them with 14.6 volts, just constant, and it will manage the charging of the battery and then manage the discharge of the battery. It'll shut it down, turn it off before it gets to the point where it might damage anything. This picture shows a close-up of all of the little, they're voltage regulators, and they've got all these heat sinks over here and so on. They're 3-terminal devices, and they're labeled as RC and have got quite a numbering system. Over here you see the actual brains of the outfit that are keeping the battery management system going. So battery management system is not just a term. It actually exists inside of these lithium-ion batteries. So why don't they sell a battery management system separately? Surely they could compete with one another and get a better one. The answer is it's too tempting to do without. And the lithium-ion battery becomes very dangerous without a proper battery management system up on top. It measures the temperature. It will shut things down before anything bad happens. That's the theory, of course. I point out that during the Quartzfest was the same time as a big RV show, an enormous RV show, under a great big tent. There were just probably several hundred vendors inside with their booths, and even more outside. Lots of people were selling everything from piece parts to full RVs, and inside the tent they had everything known to mankind that was going to make your life in an RV easier and more fun. My wife always gets a pair of sandals every year from one particular vendor that she likes a lot. So we go to the show. Let's just take a look at something that I thought you'd find interesting. This is a booth called leisurecw.com. I couldn't find any ham radio stuff in there, but it'd sure be nice to find a leisurely way to send CW. Maybe they only send it 5 words a minute. leisurecw.com. It stands for Coachworks, but we'll pretend it's for continuous wave. So that gives you a little bit of an overview of Quartzfest, Quartzite, and Discount Solar. There's a lot going on down there. If you have an RV and you've never stopped by there in the winter, late fall to early spring, they're open about 6 months out of the year, drop on by. If you want to meet other RVers, they are everywhere. It is said in Wikipedia that there are over 1 million to 2 million visitors a year. It's just unbelievable, the number of people. It's very busy during the season. Of course, when it starts to get hot again, everybody leaves, goes home, except for a hardy few who keep the town alive. Now, what's an added attraction for my wife and I going down there? Well, my wife's sister also summers in Quartzite, so we have an opportunity to spend about a week with her. It was really nice. So that area down there was actually kind of cold this year, but it's still rather pleasant weather. Maybe sweater weather, something like that. In the evening it got pretty cold. Fortunately, the RV heater worked just fine. So there you have it, a little chance to view Quartzite. If you'd like to help support this channel financially so that we can do things like go visit the Quartzfest and talk about it and have some interviews with people who sell things of interest to ham radio operators, go to dcastler.com/support and find a way that works for you. Until we next meet, 73.